just to be open, not to close off their mind or their spirit to God. Because once they do that, you start to die, and you separate yourself from the source.
I listen to children.
I do too.
By themselves, Michelle, in a room, and they are having the biggest conversation in the world.
They are.
With some imaginary person. I mean, and it's a real live conversation, and it sounds to be more than authentic. Are you telling me they're communicating with their friends and these invisible friends?
That's exactly what I'm telling you. Yes. Yes.
And that we are not to discourage that.
No, we are not to discourage that, because then that's...
Shut up inside there. Who are you talking to? You got to be crazy, child. You see anybody in this room here? What are you talking about?
Yeah, but, look at how many children can say, Grandma's in the room, and they never met Grandma. Grandma passed before them, and they can describe Grandma. They can tell you her name, her message, so much information. How can you just dismiss that?
Exactly. Yeah, wonderful. This concept about angels, we are adults now, and some of us are 39 years old, like myself, an angel, and so on. What about our guardian angels? Are they still around?
Oh, absolutely. God didn't send us.
Can we connect with them?
Yes, we connect through...
Do they guide us and keep us out of harm's way?
They sure do, if we would just be smart enough to listen. We don't take the time out of our busy lives or days. We get so distracted by these programs here and the systems that we don't go within ourselves and utilize prayer and meditation and pay attention to the dreams and, know the difference between the intuition and the ego. Oh, that ego will get you every time. So, this is why I do the work that I do and travel all over the world and lecture and write books and television, to use the media in a positive and productive way, unlike some of the trash that we have there.
How do I, let me ask you this. How many guardian angels do we have normally?
We're born with 2 guardian angels and 1 master spirit guide, but as you go through life and have certain difficulties or crisis, you are given the help that you need. God is always aware of where you are and what you're going through, and God is always present as well, first and foremost.
Yes.
And then the angel kingdom and your helpers, and sometimes loved ones. But many people make the assumption or mistake to pray to their loved ones when they should be taking those prayers to God. And God has many names, as you know, Jeff. And
sure.
And their support team that knows their contract and their soul and is assigned to them. We are their charges, and they are assigned to us to assist us to get through this life as painlessly as possible.
So I can call on my guardian angel. I'm going to Florida for the weekend.
Right.
And I want to be safe, and I don't want any accidents, and I want things to be smooth, and go ahead and go into the hotel and get the car that I want, and I don't want to be robbed by anybody and taken advantage, and for us and my family to have a good time.
Of course.
My guardian angel will assist in that.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Now, if there's some danger lurking ahead, for instance, no, don't take that flight because there's a mechanical problem.
You should listen to that.
But how do I hear them? I mean,
you hear them.
How do I know that they are communicating? What is it? A picture drops off the wall, or the door slams?
Well, sometimes they will go that far. Sometimes they will go that far if needed. But here's where we draw the line. God honors man's free will. So they can guide us. They can put the right people, the right opportunities, the warnings, several warnings. I mean, let's just use myself, for example. When I was 18, I was clearly told in my mind, I could hear it very loudly, and it wasn't of the mind, I should say, the intellect or lower self. It was this knowing, and it was so clear and precise to say, do not get in that car. They didn't give me all the details, but that was enough. And look, I didn't listen, and look what happened.
Right.
So, we do this often. People aren't able to discern the difference between their ego, their intellect, and their higher self. And it's very easy. You don't have to think about your intuition. It's a knowing. It comes to you immediately. It's just people haven't learned to tune in and trust that.
So help me to understand, Michelle, now, because this gets really interesting. All right. Is this communication going on at all times?
All
or do
times.
The angels take a day off, and they work on a 9 to 5 and
there's no such thing as time.
So I knock on the angel's door and he's not in, the light is on, but he's not at home. You're saying to me at all 24/7, 365 days a year, the angel is available to us and is able to direct and guide us if we ask the question and so on.
We don't even have to ask the question. It is their job. It is their purpose. That is what they were created to serve humanity and assist us through our evolution and to rise to a higher state of consciousness, the Christ consciousness, willingly. And so this is what they do, and they do it. They are the will and love and light and grace of God. And so they are there always, always.
There are people out there right now, Michelle, who have decisions that they have to make. There's a young lady who is deciding whether she should get married now or wait, whether she should get married to this man or not. There's a person who is weighing two job options. Should she stay with this particular job, he should stay with his job, or take the one that is now being offered? There's somebody who is trying to decide whether they should go to school in Australia or go to school in Canada. Somebody is asking whether they should go ahead and buy this house or stay in the one that they have. Or somebody might be deciding whether they should leave this man or, continue to try to make the marriage work. Are you saying that an answer is there available?
Always.
And
Absolutely.
a correct answer.
That's just it. It's the correct answer. It's just that we don't take the time out to listen. We think with our ego, we go to our friends, outside sources, and we base our decisions on a little bit of experience or the knowledge that we think that we have. And then what happens? We end up taking path B instead of A, which would have been in our best interest and others' best interest. And this is the downfall, so to speak. And what we're going through right now is Spirit has asked man to step up to the plate and help man, meaning humanity serve humanity. And let's all come together instead of, all this war and disease and all these terrible things that we have going on, because it is the demise of ourselves and the planet.
Would you forgive me if you consider this to be a test of you? I don't want this to be a test, but we are just talking. But would you forgive me, please, Michelle? Right now, the Bahamas, at least the island of New Providence, is concerned about an escaped prisoner.
Oh, I heard about that, yes.
And the police believe that prisoner is being coddled and he is being facilitated in his illusion of capture by people who are feeding him and are sheltering him and so on.
He'll be caught, though.
Is that true?
That is true, but he'll be caught.
He will be caught?
He'll be caught, yes.
Do you know when?
It will be sooner than most people think. It may be as soon as just a few weeks, but he will be caught.
Is he on the island of New Providence?
Yes, he's on the island. He hasn't fled because, as you said, people are sheltering him and protecting him. But this man's not going to be able to get away with what he's done. God's justice is greater than man's. It never fails.
Michelle Whitedove, spirit medium and channel, spiritual author, TV talk show host, spiritual counselor, medical intuitive, is our special guest here today. And once again, ladies and gentlemen, this issue of medical intuition, which is now something that I didn't realize that Michelle was. I'm happy that Shante has provided me with this information. Would you please once more again, Michelle, explain what this is, medical intuitive? What is that capacity that you have for someone who stands before you or calls on the telephone and wishes to hear from you about what's going on?
It's simple. It's like any other area of their life. I'm just able to scan the body and detect what the problem is. God gives me the information. Remember, I really can't even take the credit for it. All I can take the credit for is listening, and being willing to serve my purpose that I agreed upon. But the information comes from the Godhead and their helpers. And so it's just think of me as an X-ray machine, but more accurate.
Tonight at Unity Church on, I don't remember exactly.
Yes, it's tonight.
It's in Centerville, I think it is. Unity is in Centerville. You are going to do a session on soulmates and other love relationships. Now, we keep hearing this terminology about soulmates.
Yes.
Do I have a soulmate? Does Angel have a soulmate?
Well, you have a soulmate.
Yes. But I mean, do people have soulmates?
We do. We all have soulmates, but that doesn't necessarily mean that we are with our soulmates. Sometimes we pick someone that we knew intuitively was not in our best interest, but we went with that because a lot of people rather be in bad company versus no company at all. Jeez. So, we have what we call these filler-ins or real negative karmic relationships.
Now, how do I know my soulmate?
Because your soulmate is where you feel a great connection and drawn to each other, and there's this unconditional love that gets you through the rough times, it's not just when it's easy, because you've been with this person before, and it's also a person that's a part of your clan on the other side, meaning how we understand a biological family.